Gail, and welcome to my channel tonight. We're going to talk about some tips on how to travel cheap without breaking the budget. And this is actually requested. So I'm glad to be able to do it because you may be thinking, oh, it's fall, but there is plenty of travel left, even though it's fall. So we've got a couple of people here in the house, and I want to invite you, if you're listening, to subscribe if you haven't already. And you all make sure you give me a like on the video, the live stream, because that really helps. And I know I say that all the time, but it's true. It tells YouTube that you all got something positive out of it, and that helps them show my videos and stuff. So I appreciate it. So cheap road trip ideas, hacks, and we're going to talk about some apps to help you travel on a budget. But first, let me say hi to Keeping Myself Well. Lori, it's good to see you. And we've got Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero. You were going to go live yesterday, so what happened? I actually wound up having to go see someone at the last minute who had to go to the ER and was admitted. So sorry about that. Couldn't help it, but that's what happened. And when these things come up, you just kind of have to roll with it because, you know, there's nothing else you can really do. So that's what it is. Let me see here. Trying to pull up. Okay. All right. Pearls in the River. I hope you are listening because, or watching, or you're going to be here because you're the one that asked for the stream. So I hope that you'll get to hang out with us for a while. So, all right. So where on earth do we start? Well, first, I think I'm going to tell you that I have a blog, and a lot of this is my blog. And I don't know, double sound here. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay. So it's on, a lot of it's on my blog, and that is the Bodacious Broads travel blog.com. And you all can check that out after the live stream, not before. Gosh, I look pink in this, don't I? Sorry about that, you all. I'm trying to figure out what are the best colors to use with Streamlabs with a green screen. And I have no idea. Hey, Valerie Reese. It's all about the adventures in the chat. So, hey, Valerie. Hey. Welcome. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Peter, about last night's live stream. I hope to have an extra one this week to try to make it up to you, where we can just do chit-chat. So, okay. Road trips. So, first thing you want to do if you're going to have a budget road trip is plan your road trip carefully. And what I mean by that is plan it for a destination that everybody can find something that they can do that's cheap or free or just something that won't break the bank. If you have to go to an expensive destination, because that's what everybody is clamoring for in your family, you can still have a good time on the road trip and save money with some of these trips, some of these tips, because you're going to pick that destination and you're going to pick one thing that your whole family can do. And then you're going to build the rest of your trip around that one thing. So let's say that one thing is the hero of the trip or the pinnacle, and then you're going to plan everything else to support that. Okay. If you all have any questions, just let me know. Just dive in and ask them in the chat. If you have questions later, you can drop them in the comment section. And since this is a requested live stream by Pearls in the River, I would very much appreciate it if you drop your tips in the chat on how to do it less expensively and, you know, see if we can help her out. If you're listening later to this, do please put your road trips, tips, and hacks down in the comment section. That way everybody can benefit, and certainly Pearls on the River can too. Okay, So you want to choose your destination. And let's say you want to go, give me a place. Where's a good place to go? I'm drawing a blank. Walt Disney World. Can we pick that one? So I'm going to harp on Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World is not just the happiest place on earth, but I swear I think it is the most expensive place on earth too. Because it's going up all the time, and it doesn't go up just a couple of bucks, it leaps. And so how do you find cheap or free things to do someplace like that? And it's easier than you think. So let's say your family, that's what they have to do. That's their pinnacle. And let's say you want to go for, you've got 2 days worth of tickets. Then pick the tickets, the options that will give you the most value, because that's what you're planning your trip around. And then find things that will support it. So, for example, if you go to Walt Disney World, you can go and ride any of the outside rides. And what I mean by that is like the monorail and the boats. You can ride across the Magic Kingdom, and you don't need a ticket for that. You can go resort hopping and see the different resorts, and you don't need a ticket for that either. Whoa, you don't need a ticket for that either. So anything outside of the parks. Now, they also have a phenomenal campground, and you can stay there. It's usually a little less expensive. Plus, they have the value resorts, which take some of the price down. So if you want to go to Walt Disney World, and let's say you want to spend a week at Walt Disney World, for example, then you've got the day you arrive. And that's pretty much shot as far as things to do, because you're going to get there. You've got to check in and get settled and, all that stuff. So your main parts of your vacation begin the next day. And then the day you leave, it's kind of shot again. So if you're looking at 5 days, you really have 4 days to fill. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick your pinnacle adventure inside the park. You're going to do that. And then one of the days, you are going to go to downtown Disney, which is also called Disney Springs now. And you're going to walk around, you're going to spend some money, and you're going to do everything that you want to do there. After that, you can go to the boardwalk. You don't need tickets for either one of those. Okay, those are free things. So you go and you spend a day doing those things. 2 days, because you've already lost your first day, because that's check in and get settled. Your second day, you're going to spend at the park. Third day, at the park. Fourth day, go to Disney Springs, go to boardwalk. Then your Thursday, your fourth day, go to the campground, rent a canoe, go out on the water, ride the Disney transportation, take the monorail, go resort hopping. None of those are expensive, and all of those are free. You don't need a ticket, but it's a good way to build. Okay. So I was just picking on that for an example. And then of course your 5th day, you're checking out and you're packing up too. So those are some ideas, but we're talking about a road trip. So what do you do for a road trip? Well, you still pick out your pinnacle, your hero of the trip. And then again, you're going to build things around it. So what you're going to do is you are going to pay attention when you are planning to all of the free activities that you can possibly pack into a road trip. And this often means state parks, national parks. It may mean greenways in a town, things like that. And there are more of them than you might think. And like if you go to Tennessee, for example, all of their state parks are free. So if you're driving across the state, let's say you're coming from Arkansas and you want to go to the Smokies, or you want to go to a Dollywood. The Smokies is the #1 most visited park in the U.S. for a reason, and it's because there are so many things to do. And the Smokies, there's no charge. So if you're going to go to Dollywood, make sure you pack time in to go to the Smokies, because you will be amazed at the number of people who go to their primary destination and they sit in a hotel room the rest of the time and they don't do anything. So that's what you don't want to do if you're taking a trip and you want to kind of really experience it. So if you're going to Smokies, for example, go to Dollywood, pick your adventure, and then plan on what else is there. What's there that's free? Well, there it's really easy because you got the Smoky Mountains, right? Well, what's there to do in the Smoky Mountains? Well, if you're coming out of Gatlinburg, there is a Roaring Fork Nature Trail. And if you're thinking about going to the Smokies, write this down. Roaring Fork Nature Trail, Roaring. It's a real quiet, right off the beaten path there. And it's a little side road, but you get to it just outside of downtown Gatlinburg. There's the Needle there. And then you go off up there. Hey, we got Busy Lady in the house. Hi, Busy Lady. Welcome. It's good to see you. Okay. So you go to Gatlinburg, you take the Roaring Fork Nature Trail, and you think, oh, it's a nature trail. Well, what's there to do over there? Well, you've got this section that you're just driving through, and it's pretty twisty. So if you've got a long vehicle, you got to really rethink this. But so no RVs, no travel trailers. If you're in a dually, I'd kind of maybe think about that. But on this road trip, on this section of the road trip, the Roaring Fork Nature Trail has a Sears catalog house. Who all remembers Sears catalogs? Okay, well, they were really thick. They used to come in the mail. And generally, when you had young kids, you would stack them up on a chair, and that's what your child would sit on during like Thanksgiving meals and stuff with the family. But occasionally there were really cool things that you can order, and one of them was a house. So you would just go to that particular page. Well, guess what? That's something that Valerie remembers. Yay. See, there you go. So you could actually order a house, and there's one of those on the Roaring Fork Nature Trail. But then also in the Smokies, there's Cades Cove, which is a cove where you can drive through. It's a loop. It'll take you a few hours. Don't plan on doing this in like 2 hours. You're going to need like half a day to all day. And you want to go there. You want to kind of go toward dusk because that's when the animals are out the most. So you can actually see and take in wildlife. There are cabins that are like late 1800s, early 1900s that are still there. There's old churches, if you like old churches. We're talking about Civil War and before, or Civil War and just after. And you've got that. There's a visitor center there at Cades Cove. There's a loop. So take a picnic basket, go to the grocery store, pick out what foods your family likes, take a blanket, spread it out when you get to that destination to Cades Cove, and have a picnic. So I've just added one full day by going to the park. There's no admission. A half a day by going to the Roaring Fork Nature Trail. So you've got that. And then you can shop, you can walk around, you can see some of the crazy things in Pigeon Forge without spending anything. You're in control of your pocketbook. So let's say you want to go to Dollywood for 2 days and you want to spend a total of 5, then that's your 2 plus 3 on the other side. Off season. If you can go off season, I always suggest that, or what we call a shoulder season, which is off peak, but it's not exactly off season. It is off season, but it's still a little busier than what you're going to get at peak or just straight off season. That time period is going to vary depending on where you go. So do some checking. For example, I'm going to toss out New York City. Winter is actually a really neat time to go to the city because you can still see everything. It is going to be cold, so bring your jacket, but your lines aren't going to be as long. And there's a ton of ways that you can even make New York City cheap. Walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. That's free. It doesn't cost anything. If you go to, let's say you want to do a Broadway play, there's a stand as you come up off the subway where you'll see this really long line, and you can get buy one, get one free tickets. They call them twofers up there. After the show, dash around as quick as you can to the back of the theater, which usually you have to go up and down the block. They'll tell you how to do it. Call ahead. And you can get their autographs. There's no charge for the autographs. You're paying half price to get into the theater, and you walk across the Brooklyn Bridge for free. And of course, you're going to walk through Times Square. You're going to walk through Madison Square Garden and so forth. And that's all free. Because you don't need tickets for that, bring a reusable cup, go to St. Patrick's Cathedral, go to Macy's, ride the wooden escalator. It's the oldest working escalator in the country. And boom, you've just done a lot of things for free, and you have not yet taken a tour of New York City. That's where some of your research comes in. So finding these things, it's not really hard. And of course, there's Central Park. I have to mention that. Busy Lady says she remembers the Sears catalog. Yes. And absolutely yes. And Valerie says she loved the Christmas catalog. Those were really fun. I wished I had saved one because, we could show the grandkids today what it is. Yeah, Busy misses shopping at Sears too. Yeah, it reinvented itself so many times. I really thought that it would bounce back, but no. One day. You can shop them online though. Sears.com. Did y'all know that? Here. And they've got appliances and all kinds of things. I'm just going to pull it up while we're talking about Sears. So if you all have a Costco membership or not Sam's Club, but if you all have here's Sears. If you all have a Costco membership, then they have a whole travel section where you can get things at reduced price. So I'm just tossing it out there in case you all didn't know it was there. Hopefully one day they'll bounce back. So your Costco membership can help you save money, not just at a Costco gas station, but they have a whole travel section where you can get deals on your travel. So there again, make that the pinnacle and then build things around it. Sam's Club, about the only way you're going to save money with a Sam's Club is the gas, because the gas is usually cheaper there. But when you're looking for gas, check your apps. So apps to help you find cheap gas include the AAA mobile app, if you have that. Of course, Gas Buddy. We got to talk about Gas Money. What is that? It's the go-to app for finding the cheapest gas nearby. Other drivers pick in. It's a collective mind on that to help you find the best gas prices. There's Gas Guru. It's simple, it's easy, and it compares all the local stations by price. There's Upside. And Upside, I have to say, is one of the ones that I love the most because you go into Upside. I'll pull it up if people will quit messaging me. But you go into Upside, and I have really loved this because you not only find less expensive gas prices, but you get rebates, which I just love. So, for example, you just punch in your search, and everything comes up. So gas stations, etc. And here's one for a BP where you get a 9% cash back on that one. And then you can take your points and use them for gift cards. You can get cash. There is all kinds of things that you can get and do. So I really like it. I've gotten over $100 on that. So yeah. No, you didn't get the date wrong, Peter. You didn't. I had something come up. So I needed to be, I just typed it in there. So I needed to be with her. But Upside app is a great one. There's also Receipt Hog, which I have not been successful in being able to use on my phone. But that's a program where you can snap pictures of your receipts, play a game. Fetch is like that too, and then you can get points, and you can use those points also for gift cards or whatever. Company-based apps. You just got the notification. Okay. You were in earlier. I left you a message. So company-based apps, and what I am talking about when I say a company-based app, that's things like Pilot Flying J and Loves. Most of the time, you can get 10%, 10 cents off most of the time. Okay, Valerie says she does Receipt Hog and Fetch. Those are both good programs. I wish I could get Receipt Hog to run on my phone, but I think what's happened is I think that I have just gotten too many apps on my phone. So I have to go to some of these. I have to go to the websites. I do keep Flying J and Loves both on my phone because that's really how they do it. And you'll get a barcode and you just scan it when you go to the pump, and then you get the money back. But what I am finding out is not only are the Loves on, their own app there with a discount, but they upside, most of them upside, at least the ones that I've been to. So I can use their app and save 10 cents a gallon. Usually it's 10 cents. And then I can turn around and put it in upside, or actually you do upside first. Then you buy your gas, swipe your card, pay for it. Then when you do your upside, you just push the pay button and tell them you've paid. So you get a rebate there. And of course, if you use a credit card that's got points, you also have the points on your credit card, and you can still fetch it. So their app, upside, fetch, and your credit card. Those are the way that you can save money just on gas, along with the other apps. So you can see why I like using upside and fetch, because you can kind of stack your discounts there. So I like the company-based apps. Amazon Prime. Who's got Amazon Prime? Anybody in here? I know I do. Let's see. Peter Parker is putting in emojis. That's cool. Kneeboard oh, okay. I'm going to have to check out that keyboard then. So who's got Amazon Prime? I hope you all have Amazon Prime. Well, Amazon Prime can help you out with your gas. Let me type this in just so you can see it. If I can find it really easily. This is one of the things I have on my phone. Let me pull it up. There we go. You can also save on rental cars if you have Prime. Moving trucks too. Okay, so here we are. The Prime membership now includes fuel savings. It says you can save $70 a year on average. I think that kind of depends on where you are. Some places don't have BP or Amoco, and that's pretty much what they tie into. But the new Prime offer is that you can save 10 cents a gallon. So if you have Amazon and you're at a BP, you can still do the same thing. You can check and see if they upside. You can fetch and use your Amazon Prime card. Again, they have rental car deals. Whoops, wrong button. I don't know them. But anyway, they've got rental car deals that you can find, and they're a little bit more stable than like using Priceline and so forth. And you can get 10% back on an Amazon gift card or 30% off, and that's on the base rate. It works through budget. And I've also been told, I've not tried it, but a friend of mine moved back in June. They were able to get a budget truck to rent to help with the move, and they could do that through their Amazon Prime too. So, just look at budget, the reservations, the deals, whatever you want to do for the type of your car, and 10% back on an Amazon gift card plus, like I said, 30 cents. So that's helpful. That's helpful. Something else you may want to do, in addition to looking at the gas apps, when you stop for gas, think about what else you need. So if you need road trip snacks, you can get those at the gas station, but usually there's a Walmart close by. So check out Murphy, which are usually, but not always, near a Walmart, and then get your gas and then dash over to the Walmart and get some inexpensive snacks to make the family happy. Okay. But there's a couple more things too that you can look at. Does anybody here like to camp? Okay. If you like to camp, or if you have an RV, I use Harvest Hosts all the time. HARVEST HOSTS. I freaking love Harvest Hosts. Now, okay, there is a membership. I'm not an affiliate or anything, by the way, for any of these things. I'm just sharing my favorites with you. No affiliate anything here. But with Harvest Hosts, and I know that Pearls in the River camp. So I'm going to show this. And you can get memberships are on special. Okay, so right now it's 25% off, but you do have the membership. Let me see. I usually pay like around $100. There are different levels of memberships, but all of these places that you see on the map is either going to be a farm, a distillery, wine tasting place, or a museum. So you call ahead, you reserve your spot, and you go, and they ask you to spend $20 or $30 at that location. So if you go, say, to a farm, then get some farm fresh eggs, get your vegetables. Those things are usually cheaper at a farm than they are at a store. So you wind up getting your money back in that sense. Okay. It gives you a safe location that's interesting, that's fun, without breaking your budget. So let's say you want to go to a museum. Look and see if you're doing van life or RV life. You can check and see what's in the area where you may want to stop. So a lot of museums participate in this. So you go, you spend the night, and the next day you go to the museum. Now, if you stop at a church, which churches are also covered on this, then most of the time they do not take even a donation. I stayed in one right outside of Knoxville, and now I stay there all the time. And they're like, hey, if you can afford to make a donation of any size. If you can't afford a donation, don't worry about it. Because literally, what you do when you go to Harvest Host is you're guaranteed a parking space. You're not guaranteed Wi-Fi or anything like that. If you have it, that's a bonus, but it gives you a safe place to park. Now, some places you have to work, you always have to work it out ahead of time, whether it's earlier that day or 2 days or even a week or more in advance. But some places will tell you, we're going to lock the gate and you're going to pull into a gated area and they'll tell you that they're going to lock the gate. But they also have a way, or at least the ones I've always been to that had a gate, they've always had a way that you could leave. So, and they've made sure that you've known the gate code and so forth, or that I've known the gate code and stuff and so forth before they left. So I had a really secure place. And when I'm doing solo female travel, I like those secure places. And of course, we all know if you're doing van life or RV life and you're on the road and you're on a road trip, the cheapest place that you can stay is free. And so that's going to be your Walmart or your Cracker Barrel. Some Targets, some Sam's Clubs, some Bass Pro Shops will let you spend the night. And obviously, they would like for you to purchase something in their store. So I talked to one guy. I was out. I was just me. We were doing van lives, me and the dog. And I was talking to the guy, and we were both out getting dogs. And all he did was get coffee. He said that was all he needed. That was all he wanted. So he went into the Cracker Barrel and he got coffee. So basically, like, just buy something. But there are some apps, and I want to talk about those. Valerie says that she buys snacks before a trip so she can catch some snacks on sale. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Peter, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. So buying snacks on sale, prime example there. Bring a cooler, bring a box or a snack basket, and throw your snacks in there. Coolers are great. I went ahead, because I travel so much, I made the investment and I got a small refrigerator for the car. I originally got it for the van, but we found ourselves using it so much in the car that we actually talked about buying a second one. And I love it. Now, what I have, it's not the big one. It's kind of small. I'm going to see if I can show it to you on Amazon. Now, with Amazon, I think, have a link down the bottom. So if you click that, I will get a small, usually I will get a commission anywhere from 1 to 5%. Usually it's about 2. But that refrigerator has paid for itself. I cannot tell you how many times, because we have saved so much money, and I can't get into it to get it to come up. Oh, well, sorry, I can't show it to you. I'll try to find it later. But what I have is really small. It's like 16 quarts, and it is perfect for being on a road trip. You can throw sandwich meat, eggs. If you have store-bought eggs, they have to be in a refrigerator, so you can put them all in the refrigerator, and it's a great way to save money. But let's talk about the apps to find cheap or free camping. And there's several of them. If you don't have room for the app, you can go to freecampsite.net. It's mobile friendly in that it all formats for the mobile phone, so you don't have like half of the page missing, and we'll talk about that. Campendium. Now, this is a great app for RV or van life because it's got free boondocking sites listed, and they also cover public lands and low-cost campgrounds. It is, again, a collective mindset, so you get reviews from everybody. It helps you a lot to pick out a good place to stay. Now, the Dirt, and it's DYRT, the Dirt. Their app is pretty good, except they've got a free version and a paid version. So you're going to start with the free, of course, and then upgrade and see, if you like it and if you're getting value out of it. So that's one that, as long as you've got a cell phone signal, you can get the dirt and you can reserve your campsites, whether, it's a day ahead or a couple of weeks ahead. Now, these campsites typically don't have many amenities because that's not what it's about. But it's great if you're a hiking crowd, a lot of van life, but there's just not that many that have electricity for like an RV hookup. But they are neat places to stay. Airbnb also has some inexpensive, well, relatively inexpensive places to stay. You just got to watch what you're doing. Now, freecampsites.net, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to talk about them for just a minute. I use it, but you have to be careful because pay attention to the reviews. Pay good attention to things like safety, security. This is actually what made me decide to get a Harvest Host membership. I'm telling you, I love Harvest Host. Again, not sponsored. But here we go. Here's freecampsites.net. And let's just pull in a zip code. And you can do it. You can plan your route through this and so forth. Let me see. How to find free camping. Okay, trip planner. Maybe you have to go. Oh, I don't want to have to log in. Okay, here you go. So you can do just plan your location. Let's go from Raleigh, North Carolina into, where's a good place to go? How about West Memphis? Shall we try plugging in West Memphis, which is actually in Arkansas? And some of these are great. Some of the campsites are great. But when you are going through, you've got to pay attention to where the campsites are. And they're color coded. And if you want me to do a whole video just on how to use this, a real short one, I can. But they're color coded. And so some of the places where you stay may not be that great. One of the ones that I found, I needed to go to Knoxville. And I was in the van because I had a doctor's appointment the next day. So I looked on freecampsites.net. Okay. That did not give me places that were really good to stay. Okay. Like Baker Creek Preserve lot, an old abandoned church has a flat spot on the main lot. You can tuck your vehicle away in the shadows and says, my buddy has stayed. If you're traveling and you're a single woman, that may not appeal to you. And then there is a Walmart parking lot, is a good boondocking spot up in the right-hand corner near the gas station. Well, let me explain that parking at Walmart overnight in Knoxville is a no-go. They do not like for you to do that. And they will come and knock on your door. They will ask you to move and so forth. So I knew that going in. And then it also lists some of the pay sites, like Raccoon Valley Campground. This is an escapees membership, Rainbow Park. You can camp if you're not a member, you can dry camp, and it says the fee is $12. So just be careful if you're going to use some of the free apps and so forth, because some of them may give you erroneous information, or somebody might stay and things change. So, here's a couple of these right off 40, Centennial Park in Nashville. Outside of that, you can't park there overnight, but they say you can stay on the roads beside the park. I'd have to really question that. So what you may want to do is try messaging some people or calling ahead if you're going to look at staying at a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel, because if you have a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart and you want to stay and it's in a place that does not allow overnight parking, you can get yourself into trouble. So always double check. I called about one. It was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's a popular tourist area. So I called and I'm like, hey, can I stay in your parking lot? And they're like, well, technically, no, but they never make anybody move. Okay, so then you're in the position of, do you chance it or do you go somewhere else? And for me, I usually always opt to go somewhere else, because I like making sure that I have a good, secure place to stay. And if I'm going to be up half the night worried about a knock on the door, that's not going to work. And of course, truck stops, you can stay in a truck stop. Love's actually has campsites that you can book and rent that usually have full hookups. Once in a while, you'll get one. We stayed in one that Bean Station, I believe it was, that, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but they had electricity, but they didn't have water, which was like the strangest thing, because I stayed there because of the water. And I'm like, hey, if you don't have water, how do I take a shower? Because that's one of the big reasons why I'm here. And they were like, we can sell you a shower. And I'm like, no. So, double check on that too. And that's one of the things that's really good about the Loves app that we were talking about earlier. Not only can you save money on gas, but you can, book your campsite through it if you're doing a road trip and you're camping. So RV life, van life, check that out. And of course, pack your own snacks and drinks. I have talked to so many people who are like, I am not going on a trip to pre-pack my food. I had somebody leave me a message one time on one of my videos saying that she could get snacks just as cheap on the road. And I'm like, not necessarily, because if you're going to a gas station, they always up the price. And she's like, well, I use Love's, and I do too. And she said, you just get what's on special. Good luck. That usually does not turn out to be the cheapest way to go. Usually it's to pre-pack. So, just take a little box, throw some things in it. Valerie says she does that ahead of time so she can get the things on sale. 99% of being able to travel on a budget is all about planning and creativity. Those are your two big ways to save money. Planning and creativity. Also, before you go, you'll find that a lot of places may have driving tours. And it's really interesting because you can go to the location and it might be free. There's some national parks that do that. But then you have to pay for the audio to do the driving tour. So if you're going to go and you're going to plan ahead, go to YouTube. Look and see what videos are on the different spots of the driving tour and put your playlist together, record them, put them on your phone, and then boom, you can go to the spots, you can get the information, and you won't be spending your money on the audio tour. Not to say that the audio tours aren't fun. And a lot of times they're like, $10 for the audio tour, which is a small amount of money. But if you're looking at saving all that you can and doing a budget trip, you may not have the money for that. So go to YouTube. Yay, YouTube, right? Where we all are right now. And, take advantage of those videos. Let's say you want to go to the Outer Banks and you want to know about the wild ponies. Wild ponies are in two basic spots on the Outer Banks. One is a beach area that you really can't get to on the northern end of the Outer Banks. So your best way is to take a tour. The other way is to drive down to the Wild Pony Pen in Ocracoke. But getting there is a little challenging because you're going to be taking ferries part of the time. It's a really neat thing to do. But your best chance to get the best information on like what season and stuff is to look up YouTube videos and do that. So for me, that's been a great alternative to buying the audio books. The podcast and audio tours. Public spaces. Now, I can't say this enough. If you're planning a road trip, a budget road trip, You don't want to break the bank. You want to have an awesome time on your road trip. Look at free public spaces. So, what I mean by that is greenways, parks, outdoor art exhibits. If you like that, there's a bunch of cities that have outdoor art exhibits. Murals are a really hot thing right now. A lot of really small towns are jazzing up their buildings with murals. And those murals can portray the history of whatever town you're going through. Stop at the Welcome Center, pick up free information on the town or order it ahead of time. It's free. Just contact them, say you're coming. Go ahead and get your map and things like that. Lay them all out. And do your planning. And when you're on the phone, if you call ahead, when you're on the phone, ask them, hey, what's the most interesting thing to do in your town that's cheap or free? And they'll tell you because they want to boost their tourism. They really want to do that. The next thing, yes.
Bravery wanted to say hi.
Oh, hi. I've got a phone. I'm going to have to go in a minute. It's my grandbaby calling. But anyway, check those things because those can add a lot of value. Now, what I personally like to do if I'm taking a road trip and I find a place that has a free murals that you can see or a free outdoor art exhibit, then I'll go and that'll be a great place to stretch my legs, see something interesting, add to the trip, and it's free. Still take a picnic, go to the park, have lunch, and then boom, you're back on the road in just a little bit because a lot of these you don't have to go off the road much. And that way you can go road tripping and travel, but still stick within your budget. So some of the likely spots that you may find that are free also include museums. Many museums have gone to donation only. You can look it up online and take a donation only museum and add that in. Valerie Reese is saying that she has a lot of battlefields around her. You can hike them for free, and there are markers that tell about the battles. Perfect example right there is going to the parks. A lot of national parks have no admission, but what you do have to check into on national parks is to make sure they don't have timed admission. So it may be free to get into a park, but they're so popular that they have to stagger the times. Now, you have less problems if you go off season or shoulder season than you do if you're on peak season. But yeah, they're phenomenal. They're a great way to learn about history, to get you out of the car, and just walk around and stretch your legs. Always take with you too, take your snacks. But one big thing that you want to do is take a water bottle of some kind. I don't care if it's collapsible. I don't care if it's a cup. Whoops. Can't see that when I got my green screen on. Didn't think about that being a green cup. But take your cup. I have seen so many people spending a fortune having to buy reusable cups at national parks because they didn't bring one. A lot of national parks do not sell bottled water because they want you to use a reusable cup because it's better for the environment. Also, if you want to go to a national park, I can do a whole thing on tips about visiting national parks for cheap. But if you want to go to a national park and you're going to go to a bookstore, I'll usually try to buy something to support the park. Many of them do not have paper bags or plastic bags. So you will either need to bring your own reusable tote bag or be prepared to spend money buying it. So those are some things. And if you take your reusable cup, you can fill it up at any national park. Many places have places where you can refill your water bottles, your visitor centers, your welcome centers, your rest areas. If you don't like the flavor of water, it's okay. take some little flavoring packets with you, put them in the water bottle, shake them up, and you're good to go. And you've just saved a ton of money. So it's the small things that can add up. And I actually go through after I take a trip and look at all my receipts and look and see what I've spent money on, because that helps me plan better for the next trip. So there you go. So you all, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Usually I try to do this for an hour, but my grandbaby is calling. So I got to go take care of whatever she wants. So forgive me for this, but it has almost been an hour. So if you have not subscribed, I want you to go ahead and do that. And make sure, again, that you give me a like on the video, because that really, really helps. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you leave your tips. If you're watching this after the live stream, make sure you leave your tips below. And don't forget to be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living. Thank you all again, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Good night.